Okay, hopefully people can hear me now since my other video didn't work. If you can hear me, please let me know. I'm going to take a second and see if you guys can. Because I really don't want to have to retell this whole entire story and nobody be able to hear me. So, okay, it says my microphone. So hopefully it is. Okay, so I deleted the video that I just made because apparently nobody could hear me for some reason. Um, and my very first video about the getting to know me, I also deleted because I felt like it was really rushed. And I think I'm gonna take separate time out of my day to actually make a video where you can actually get to know me. Because there's a lot about me that a lot of people don't know, and there's a lot about me that people do know. And if you do know me, you know that I've had a very, very hard life and a very messed up life. So on to this video. This video, I know everyone has been messaging me since I've been off of social media for over 7 months now, and I really wanted to know what was going on in my life. So I'm going to start from the very beginning of what happened and how I met this person up until today. So what happened was I was pregnant with my daughter December of 2017. In February of 2018, I met a guy named, I'm not going to use his real name, so let's just call him Ted. Okay, Ted and I started talking as friends. It was only that. James and I broke up, and then Ted and I got together. We were only together for like a week. Wasn't anything like super serious or anything like that. It was just like a friend. And then it led to like a friends with benefits thing, which was horrible, very horrible. So through him, I met another guy. He goes by his middle name, which is a very common middle name, but I'm going to use a name that rhymes with his first name so nobody knows who I'm talking about because he was on my Facebook for a very long time. So after I gave birth to my daughter, I healed, of course, and then Ted, Damon, and I were supposed to meet up for a threesome, which did happen and it was horrible, but it didn't happen right away like we had planned. Well, Ted and I had a falling out. We were super close. Things got really bad between us. We kind of went our own way in August. So August 31st was the first day that David and I actually did anything, just one on one. And then by middle September, I was living with him. And the reason why, and this is a completely different story time, is because at that time I had left the father of my children, didn't want to be with him. We had been separated since June. Um, when I gave birth to my daughter, we were still separated. And that guy put me through a lot. I'm not going to say he's a bad person, but it was a lot of mental, verbal, you don't answer me right away. I'm going to cut off your phone when I didn't answer him right away, or he didn't get the answer that he liked. Manipulation there. Um, that's the same guy who bought me a Jeep to get me to come home, to be a family again, which was the worst mistake ever, but I was with him for 6 years, so there are some feelings there because he is the father of my kid, but not anything romantic, anything like that. So at this point, my kid's father was being a jerk because I had moved on, moved in with this guy, and everything was really good actually. And then I noticed that small little red flags started to pop here and there that told me that maybe he was not a good person. He would talk about being abused all the time. He would talk about hurting his mom and hurting his ex-wife and how he would hurt his child. And I'm like, are you just saying this to like scare me away or did you legitimately do this? Because like I've already invested time in you and now I have feelings. And if you're like this, I need to know. So one night we left my mom's house and we went through the Chick-fil-A drive-through line and we were horse playing and I scratched his eye on complete accident. He grabbed my hand and like gave me the most dirtiest look ever. But he calmed down, like nothing happened that night. And then the second red flag was after I had moved in with him in Simpsonville, because that's where I was for 7 months. And at the very end of it, Fountain Inn for like 2 weeks. I was working at Hobby Lobby on Clemson, and I had worked over, and I didn't have my phone because you're not allowed to have your phone on you. It was in, the locker in the back. And I asked my manager if I could do that because I knew he was waiting on me. I knew that he had his kids in the car. At this point, my kids are with my mom. My mom has temporary custody. And he just starts flipping out, talking about, how I should have been able to use my phone to tell him that it was going to be over an hour wait, and how he was going to run his truck through the front door and call the cops if they didn't let me out on time. And I was like, first off, Christmas is coming up. You know, it just passed Halloween. Thanksgiving's coming up. We're super busy. Like, we're setting up for Christmas. We have a whole store to put back together before we can even leave. Not to mention, you have to leave as a group and lock the door because somebody has the money bag, that they've got to turn in and take to the bank every night. Like, we're not supposed to just leave one at a time like that. So everyone's looking at me crazy. And I'm super embarrassed at this point to say that this is my boyfriend waiting on me. He's like literally right on top of the door. And I'm like, you can just go park in a parking spot and I can just walk to you. And he's like, I'm not going to make you walk because it's late at night. You can get hurt. And he squeals his tires. And like the whole way home, he's fussing about it. And I remember one time, this is the third red flag. My phone died while I was at work. I forgot to put it on airplane mode because in the building we were in, it'll drain the life out of your battery. And I didn't call him. And I had just got home. I drove 40 minutes to Simpsonville. And he was like, if you didn't answer me within 20 more minutes, I was going to call the police. And I've already called your mom. And I was like, dude, my phone died. It's not a big deal. Like, you're not my daddy. Like, you're supposed to be my boyfriend. I don't have a car charger. At this point, I didn't even have a car. I was borrowing his ex-wife's car, who was nice enough to let me. Turns out she's two-faced. That's a whole nother story time. And that was like my third red flag. My fourth red flag was I was at work. At this point, I started working at Lowe's Food in Simpsonville. Really awesome fucking grocery store to work at. It's got a restaurant. It's got a bar in there. It's got a coffee shop. I did that, and I did cashier up front. You could wear jeans. It was just super comfortable. You could show your tattoos. Like, the best place, honestly, that I've ever worked, and the best people. Like, I have to give it to them. They are absolutely amazing. They're very understanding. And so we were walking out of the front door because we were trying to figure out what we were going to do for dinner. Either buy stuff while I was there to make for dinner or either go out to eat, which we ended up going out to eat. But this guy named, let's call him Hayden, looked at me. And at that point, he was in boxcar, and I hadn't started working over in boxcar yet, which is where you make, hot chocolate, lattes, milkshakes. We even make chocolate, actually. We'd made chocolate covered strawberries for Valentine's Day. And he looked at me, and I just looked at him. Wasn't anything sexual, wasn't anything hitting on him, nothing like that. So then I see these flowers because Lisa was putting out flowers. That's not her real name, but she was putting out flowers, and I saw these roses, and they're really pretty. I have a rose tattoo. I'm obsessed with them. Um, and I wanted to look at them. And we go to walk out the door. I'm like, you ready to go? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, I ought to leave you here. And I'm like, what? Why? Why would you randomly say that? And he's like, because you were strategizing on how to leave me. You were looking at that dude there, and you're probably flirting with him nonchalantly. And I was like, what the fuck? I just looked at him. Like, that's all I did. And we got in the truck, and he's like, you're strategizing. And he just lets me have it, like, majorly. And then that was the third red strike. The fourth red flag that I saw was he had these strike rules. You get 3 strikes, the relationship ends. And one of them happened because he was on the phone with his friend. What did I call his friend earlier? Ted. Ted. And he said something about me being a maid jokingly. And it hurt my feelings because he sounded like legit. And so I said something while he was still on the phone. And he's like, how dare you correct me while I'm on the phone with Ted? And you get a strike for that. And it was a big ass argument. And then the second strike happened the very next night. We went to Cub Scouts with his children and dropped them off. And at Cub Scouts, one of the Cub Scout leaders wanted to break the ice with me. I didn't really know them. I might be taking his son from this point on because their mama was lazy and didn't take him. And I really did not want his kids to miss out. So I was trying my best to be a good, person for his kids to be around. So the guy goes, "Hey, Allison," and that's not my name. My name is Amber. And so I just kind of let it slide. And then when him and I were sitting down, he's like, he was trying to break the ice with you. And I said, yeah, that's not funny considering you've already slept with all of Georgia. And it was just a joke between me and him because I know his past. He slept with a lot of people. It was totally meant to be a joke. And he like said something to me right then and there. He's like, that's your second strike. How dare you disobey me? And publicly humiliate me and like misrepresent my name and have all these people like think bad of me. So we get in the car to take the kids home after Cub Scouts and he kisses my hand. So at this point, I think, okay, he's cooled down, everything's fine. So we drop off the kids back to their mom and he just starts screaming at me. He's like, that's your second strike. Like, how dumb are you? Get two strikes in 2 days. And I'm like, what the so then I'm like, you need therapy. So then I get him in therapy, and I don't think therapy's helping him very well. He would sit down on my lessons because I wanted to, and sometimes because I felt like there was things that we could work on as a couple. But I really put my all into this relationship, guys. Like I was making his breakfast, I was making his dinner, I was making his lunch, I was putting cute messages in there, you know, and it got crazy. He was calling me every 2 hours on every single break. And if I didn't answer the phone right away, he'd be like, why didn't you answer the phone? I was on my break at work and had to go to the bathroom. You only get a 15-minute break. I'd go to the bathroom, try to eat something real quick because a lot of times I didn't get a break. They were like 6, 7 hour shifts. And if you work 7.5 hours, you get a 30-minute lunch or something like that. So he'd be like, why are you getting off the phone with me? You still have 15 minutes. I'm like, no, I don't. I got something to drink. I went to the bathroom. It was crazy. And then this guy who I worked with introduced himself to Damon. And this guy had a crush on me, yes. And Damon told him that he would sit outside the window with like a 30 something, some type of gun, and like watch what was going on. And I remember he used to fuss at me because I would get to his work really early to wait on him because I would just leave from my job and sit outside and wait for him sometimes, and it would be like an hour, and he works for Company and Greer, which is part of they make car parts and all that stuff. You guys can probably guess the company. I'm not going to say the company name because it's very popular. Um, and I was like, I'll just sit here and wait for you. But God forbid I go inside or anything. It'd be like a whole fight. But yeah, he would come into the store 30 minutes to an hour and wait on me and do these little things, which at first he was joking about watching me. And then I don't know, I felt like he was joking the whole time, but I felt like I had to watch, who I was talking to because I felt like if I spoke to a guy, like my bag boy who was bagging the groceries for me because I was the cashier, or somebody in boxcar while I was making their drink, I felt like he would like get mad at me and tell me I was strategizing again. And then Christmas Day, we were horse playing and I accidentally got him in his eye again. And we were in the car. We had just got done with the kids at the park. And he twisted my arm all the way around and grabbed me by my hair and shoved my face into, you know, where your back meets the seat of the passenger side. And he tried to blame it on PTSD. And granted, yeah, he's been through a lot of abuse growing up and he was in the military, but he never went overseas and like never witnessed like any killings or anything like that. I'm not saying he doesn't have PTSD, but that's what he blamed it on. And I ran inside the house and I grabbed my Bible and I wanted to pray for him and I opened it up and he comes in and shuts it and he's like, you don't need to pray for me. I'm like, well, you need somebody to pray for you because you need help. And I was super, I didn't say that to him. That's what I was thinking. And I was super emotional because that had never happened to me. I mean, even my kid's dad did not put hands on me like that. And I was just kind of shaken up and I was really emotional and crying. And he constantly apologized all day. That was the first time he laid hands on me. The second time was almost 2 weeks ago. We got in an argument over sex of all things. He said that he wanted it. And I was like, okay, I'd been waiting around all day for him. I was getting tired at this point, wanted to go to bed. The charter people came. And I said, are we doing this or no? And it led into like a stupid petty argument where he started calling me names. And, what's crazy is the morning of, we had a really good day. We went, we played basketball, we got ice cream, actually kicked his ass in basketball. I'm not even good at sports. So that was a surprise. And I'm trying to remember all the details because I had to file a police report and all that. And my heart was really upset. I really put in a lot into this dude. He started calling me names, and I tried my best to ignore it. I put my headphones in, started listening to Christian music, tried to read the Bible, and I was like, "You know what? Just get up. You're not done with this fight. Just stand up for yourself. Just let this be the first time that you stand up to him." And I did. And I came out and I said, "How dare you call me those names? Like, you're not going to call me the B word or the C word anymore." And we started fighting. And then he's like, "I don't love you. I never loved you." And then that really upset me. So then I went in the bathroom and shut the door, locked it, sat on the bathroom floor with the lights off, and just started praying. And I tried my best to just go to bed and sleep it out and be like, "Okay, he's just in a bad mood," but I just couldn't. And so we started fighting. Like, we had a verbal altercation where we were calling each other names, and told me I was crazy and started recording me, and it was just crazy. He bucked his chest at me, so then I bucked my back, and then he pushed me with his chest, and then he pushed me again, put his hands over my hands, and like banged my head against the floor. Like, and it felt like when it was happening, while he was doing it to me, it was like, "Oh shit, like you've never done this to me before. Like you've never gone this far." And I'm like, "I don't know if I should be scared. I love you. Sit down, talk to me." And it was like he knew that he wanted to hurt me, and he knew it was like he was trying to control his temper. Like he wanted to harm me, but he didn't want to leave a mark, kind of thing, if that makes sense. At this point, as crazy as it sounds, we were passing a can of Vienna sausages back and forth to be able to talk. And I'm still super upset. Then I go get in the recliner chair and he pushes me back into the recliner chair, grabs me by my ankles, pulls me down to where I'm like barely on the chair, spreads my legs and starts slapping me down there. This is crazy, guys. I run into the bedroom and I'm laying down trying to ignore him. He comes in there, he puts a pillow over my face, holds it for maybe 5 to 10 seconds. I wasn't sure if he was trying to suffocate me or whatever, but that's what he did. And we didn't have a bed frame because we had just moved into this apartment, and he flipped over the bottom half of the mattress over me and was like demanding I get dressed. And I'm like, "No, I'm not getting dressed." And then finally, he takes my phone from me 'cause I'm trying to call my mom for help or a police officer at this point, and he throws it in a box. Then he decides to grab my phone and he puts it in his pocket. And then I'm like, "Fine, I'll get dressed." We drive to Waffle House. This old couple probably thinks we're fucking crazy. They pull up beside us. They get back in the car and actually leave. He's like, "Come inside and talk to me. We're going to eat." And I'm not an emotional eater. If I'm sick, if I'm destroyed inside, if I'm hurt, I'm not going to eat. I will go days and days without eating to the point where I start to throw up. 'Cause I'm not an emotional eater. I'm not a stress eater. So at this point, we go home and he calls the cops and he tells them that I won't let him leave. And that's definitely not the case. I'm just trying to talk it out, trying to get my phone back at this point, which he does give me my phone back after he calls the cops. And the cops come out. I have a scratch mark, I have a bruise on my arm. They ask if I want to press charges. I say no because I feel like he's standing at the door listening just because of the kind of person he is. And then 2 days later, I reach out to his ex-wife because he's told me he's abused her, and I wanted to know if it's ever gone that far with her. And she was like, "You should press charges." His stepdad was like, "You should press charges." His mom is like, "You should press charges." So I do. And then, because I'm like, "Okay, yeah, you're right. I don't want this to happen to any other person." And then I do. And then they file a report, they do an interview with him, and then his mom comes in to give me back my half of rent that I paid for April, and I give him back the phone that I paid for and got for myself, by the way, even though it was on his account, just so I wouldn't have any connections or anything. And the key to his truck that I was driving, because I didn't have a vehicle during this whole time. I still don't. My kid's dad actually has the vehicle with my name on it. He refuses to give it back. So it's just a mess. And I left my kids to have everything. So I had nothing but this apartment that I put down first month's rent and the security deposit for. And it's in my name, but it's also in his name. And you guys, I went through a lot. This is not even all of it. And if I tell you guys everything, you guys are probably going to think I'm really stupid for staying. But the truth is, I just wanted somebody to love me for me and care and be there. And for the first time in 25 years, I'm going through a phase where I'm having to learn myself and be okay with being alone and love myself for that, you know? And on top of all of this, the day that it happened is actually the day that I lost my second miscarriage. So I was already emotional, you know? And it's crazy how a day can be so good and then escalate and then it turns so bad. But anyways, his family was toothpaste as fuck. They were like, "Press charges, do this. Yeah, we've got your back. You're family now. You've already met the kids. Blah 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 blah. You can come hang out whenever you want." His ex-wife actually tried to get me to leave with her and go eat and go to like a birthday party with her or something like that. It was weird. I'm like, "No, I'll just stay here," because he's mad at me. He's saying we're done. People just need cool downtime, and then they're good. And he's came back a million times before. He's talked about how he loves me more than his ex-wife and this and that. And I guess I was just stupid and believed it. And I was constantly called the B word. I was constantly called the C word. I was constantly being put down. He would make this comment all the time about how I was really stupid or really smart, but couldn't tell that I was stupid. Or, my mom and I tried to have a conversation. He would overtalk us when I was going through the court system. He's actually the reason why I don't have my kids. Because I had to move 40 minutes away because the judge wouldn't let me in my mom's house when I left my kid's dad because she wanted me to learn independency. So, that's what I was working on. I was trying to work on getting a car. I actually did get my own apartment, even though I put his name on it too. And he did pay his half of rent. So that's how we got in there. And I paid my half and the security deposit. And you guys, love makes you do crazy things, and it makes you very blindsided, and it makes you stay even though you know you deserve better. And off and on during this whole relationship, he kept telling me that he was gonna resent me, and that I was gonna resent him, and that I was gonna grow to hate him. But the truth is, this breakup just happened 2 years ago. I spent almost 8 months with him. I have love for him. I still care about him. There's nights where I wake up and I roll over and I reach for him because I got used to sleeping next to him and he's not there. And then, like, my heart sinks a little bit. And then there's questions as to, like, why would you just up and leave me when I gave you everything you wanted? I made your breakfast, I made your lunch, I left you the little cute notes that you wanted. I handmade you a bracelet just like you were handmaking me one. Like, I did all these things for you, picked you up from work, took you to work, literally stopped my whole entire life. Didn't even really see my kids unless you were with me because you didn't want me to come to Anderson by myself because the police here and, my kid's dad, and at the time, me and my kid's dad had a restraining order against each other. He did some things to me. That's why there was a restraining order in place. And I'm trying to prove stability to get my kids back from my mom. And then, my kid's dad gets the kids because he's had, of course, 4 years at the dealership. I mean, he's a car salesman. And I was a stay-at-home mom for 4 years. So I literally let him keep everything just to save from a fight. And I'm trying to like build myself up. And the police report says that he brought his mama and his ex-wife with him to the police station. And, I read through the police report. He said that I liked rough sex and this and that, which is why I had the bruises. And yeah, we did do that, but that's not why I had the bruises. And so we didn't even do it that day. And that's how the fight started, actually, because he originally wanted it. And just a stupid, petty argument escalated real quick, escalated to name calling, escalated to me wanting him to know not to call me that anymore, and how I felt disrespected. And he's like, "You disrespected me, like you were gonna jump across this computer and you were slapping your hands together, and that gives me PTSD." And I was like, I was punching my hand. I didn't clap. I know clapping is one of your triggers. And I know he grew up in an abused life. I don't know if he has PTSD or not. And that's sad to say because I was with him for a long time. Like, I don't know. And when we would fight and I would try to talk it out like an adult, he'd be like, "You're stupid. If you can't figure out why I'm mad at you, you're just fucking stupid. You're just stupid." And I'm not going to explain myself. You're stupid. And I tried my best to get him into therapy. I got him into therapy. I don't know if it's working for him. I don't even know if he's still going, but I wrote him a letter and I left it at the apartment. And then I decided to take the letter with me. I put all my emotions into the thank you. I know I deserve better. But My feelings are really hurt. I really cared about this person. I really loved this person. I really gave it my all. I tried to get him into therapy because I felt like he needed it. I meant when I say, I love you through thick and thin, I'm the kind of person that actually means it. Like, I'm not going to marry you and divorce you because we have a stupid petty argument and you call me names and I feel disrespected. Like, I'm going to forgive you. I'm a forgiver. Like, I forgive a lot. And I wear my heart on my sleeve and I'm very caring and I'm very loving. And, I did a tarot reading and had a psychic lady talk to me, you know, a while back just out of fun. And they're like, you would open up the gates of hell for somebody if you really love them. And, the sad thing is, that's true. I give it my all. And his kids were not in the best environment. The house is condemned. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but is condemned. Um, Pick them up. They smelled like dog poop. There was dog poop all over the floor from where his ex-wife just didn't care to pick it up. Neither did his mama. And I really tried my best to bond with those kids. I don't know how they feel or grew an attachment to them. They weren't the best behaved, but I really tried my best. And I really tried hard because I didn't have my kids at the time. And I still don't. They're actually with their dad right now. And now I pay their dad. And now I'm like, I gave you my whole world and everything I had in it just to try to prove stability and make it so where I could get my kids back and where you can get your kids because you're telling me that you want them and then you're screaming at them. Like, I was in the shower one day and the youngest one spit up his water. He gets really emotional and homesick when he's with his dad and just screams for his mom the whole time. And I remember, him saying, "What are you, stupid? How do you spit up your water?" And I'm thinking, he's just homesick. He's just homesick. Maybe he's just nauseous. And I remember there were several times with his oldest son, he would just not like a pop in the back of the head to like say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like dumbass, like not anything like that, like a fucking hit. And I had to tell him to calm down. And honestly, the relationship started out as friends with benefits, and then it led to staying the night with each other every night. Then it led to a relationship, and I just feel like I got the crap end of the stick. I gave it my all. I'm still not in any better of a position or closer to getting my kids back because of this. And I feel like a loser and I feel like an idiot. And I still care about this person. And it's like, why do I care about you? Like, you mistreated me. I never got a word out. You kept over talking me. You kept telling me what the judge was going to say, like you were friends with the judge or some crap. You know, you would always call me dumb. You'd always put me down. And now, I was gonna do a buyout on the apartment, which is $2,000 that I don't have, but my kid's dad was gonna help me, you know, because he came and got me, you know, that weekend that everything was going down. Like, my mom didn't answer her phone quick enough, and he actually did that for me, and I really do appreciate that. I don't think the father of my kids is a bad person. I just feel like he's made some really bad decisions that have really hurt me, and some of them are really unforgivable. And I'm a very forgiving person. So when I'm done, I'm done. Like when I'm done with you, I'm done. I don't want anything to do with you. And it's like, you told me you didn't love me while we were fighting. So did you even mean it all those times you told me that you loved me? Because I remember that day on the couch, you told me you loved me. And then you turned around and you said it again. And it took me by surprise because I really felt like you meant it. And I probably sound really crazy, but my heart is still really broken. It's not even 2 weeks since it happened. A part of me wants him to message me, and then a part of me is like, "You deserve so much better. You deserve to just have this time to work on yourself and get a job and, you know, do you." But then part of me is like, "Well, what if I'm lonely forever after this? What if there is no soulmate for me? How do I live on my own? Like, I've never done it before. Like, how do I be single? I've never been single for longer than a couple of months." So those were some of the red flags, and I just hope that everybody can learn from what I saw and not ignore it because I did, and now I'm in an even worse pickle than what I was before, and it's taking everything in me not to call him, it's taking everything in me not to message him because I'm so hurt here. Like, I feel like there's a hole in my heart that's missing. I feel like a piece of me is missing because I just gave so much to this person. And I wake up in the middle of the night and I roll over and he's not there. And then I feel lonely. And then my heart hurts again. And uh, my kid's dad does let me see the kids. I actually get to see them every other weekend, unsupervised, and I get a weekday. But for some reason, I haven't been getting my weekday. And there's a lot going on right now between me and my kid's dad. Um, there's something legal going on that's not about custody, and I can't really talk about it right now, so I'm not really able to communicate with him right now. And since it happened, I don't know if I'm even going to be able to see my kids on my weekend, but he was, and I do pay him. Um, Anything else you guys want to know? Like, I'm making this video because I want people to know the red flags. I want people to know how bad I'm hurting, and I don't want anyone to go through this. And honestly, I should have listened to everybody. When my mom met Damon, that's not his real name, but I'm using a name that rhymes. When my mom met him, she's like, there's something about him that I cannot put my finger on. Like, there's something off, And then he started telling me about how he wanted to hurt his mom and how he did certain things to his mom and how he hurt his ex wife. And I ignored them. I ignored them probably because I didn't want to be alone. And I told myself he had anger issues. He very clearly does. And I just wish I could help him. I just wish I could fix him. Like, I'm a fixer. Like, I find these people or these I don't know if they're drawn to me or if I'm drawn to them, but it's like every person I get with is broken and needs help. And I give it my all and then I just get ran over. But anyways, this video is 32 minutes long. I'm going to get off of here. I hope everyone understands where I'm coming from. And I hope everyone learns, the lessons that I'm learning now. I hope you guys learn them a lot quicker than I do. And even though it hurts, I do know that I deserve better. But right now, I'm still in the hurting phase where I still want him to come back. And I'm still hoping that he'll call and apologize and tell me to come home. And I got a lot of my stuff out of the apartment. And today I was there and I noticed that he had my jacket hung up and there was candles in the bathroom. So I don't know what he did. I don't know if he let somebody wear my jacket or if he brought somebody over to get his fix. I don't know, but I'm still allowed in my apartment for 30 days and I'm not there right now. I'm not going to tell anybody where I'm at right now in case he's watching my Facebook or in case his ex-wife is watching my Facebook and they try to guess, just for my safety. And I did not use any real names in this video for safety and to protect the identities of the people. Um, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet because I was told that I should probably get, you know, some very important people involved with what's going on with his kids and being in that house and stuff over there. But I feel like if I did it right now, I feel like they would know it's me. Um, is your kid's dad still willing to help you with the apartment or whatever you said? I don't know. I haven't spoke to him since yesterday, and something very personal and very bad happened to me. So I really can't say right now because legal stuff right now. Um, but if he would, that would be great because I'm gonna owe them $2,000 if I don't. But the good thing is, if Damon decides to keep the apartment, I don't have to pay it. But I did go ahead and sign the papers to get my name off of the lease. Um, but I don't want him to keep the apartment because I don't like. I I don't want him to keep the apartment. I don't want him to keep the place that I put so much money into to build with him after everything that he did to me, but it looks like he might be able to keep the apartment, especially if he can't afford it. I don't know if he can or can't. He told me that he couldn't and that he needed me, to help him so that way he could afford the apartment, which is why we both got an apartment because we both needed it. But then at the same time, he's like, I can't. And then he's like, I can. So I don't know what's going on with that yet. I'm allowed to talk to him. I haven't reached out to him. I feel like I should about the apartment, but I feel like he still needs cool down time because it was a little less than 2 weeks ago. Um, I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything before I tell you guys bye. You may want to reconcile your differences with your kid's dad if he is willing to help you. Very true. But the stuff that's going on with my kid's dad right now is stuff that's legal that I'm not able to talk about, something that has happened um, that's very bad. And depending on the outcome, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to talk to him ever again. Not sure what's going to happen with the kids. Not sure if I'm going to get them or if my mom's going to get them. Let's just put it that way. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to talk about what's going on with that situation until everything's said and done and I'm told that I can. And I will make a video on that as soon as possible, as soon as I know that it's safe for me to talk about. Um, my kid's dad really wants me to do certain things uh, to get his help, if that makes sense. Um, and there are things that I don't agree with and that I don't want. Um, so, yeah, $2,000 is a lot of money. So, if Damon can afford the apartment, then I guess I'm just gonna let him so I don't have to pay it. But at the same time, like that would make me heartbroken because I don't want you bringing anybody in that house that, we started to build together. I don't want you don't even deserve it. Like after you laying hands on me, after you call me all those names, like F you. I put my first month's rent there. I put my security deposit in there. And all you did was your first month's rent. I feel like if I could afford it, but he's telling me that I can't. And honestly, right now I can't. But I was gonna do a buyout so he couldn't keep it. So if it's possible to reconcile with my kid's dad and he's willing to do that, then I will. Um, because I would really like Karma to get Damon. Um, but he's just moving on. Like he never gave a freak about me. Like all that time I spent to him, close to a year, wasn't like anything special. Like I was unimportant. And then like there was days where he'd be like, "I love you so much. Please don't leave me. You're gonna resent me. Like you're the best thing that's happened to me." And I don't know how to really. I don't know how to feel about that because I feel like the whole relationship was a lie now on his end, and it sucks because how do you give up on somebody so easy and just walk away when you share an apartment with them and they love you so much that they're willing to go through everything with you and be by your side, even when you're laying hands on them? I just don't understand. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope there's some lessons to be learned here from my experience. And tomorrow night, I'm probably going to make another live video. I don't know what it's going to be yet, so I'll have to sleep on that tonight and think about it tomorrow. But if you guys want more life lesson videos and stuff, I have a shit ton of them. Like, people look at me all the time and tell me I'm strong. I've been through 6 pregnancies. I've had 3 miscarriages, and then I've given birth 3 times, all natural. And my friend Rika, a couple years back, actually told me I was the strongest person that she knew. I've had really bad things happen to me when I was little at the hands of my biological. I don't even want to get on that topic, but I have tons of story time videos that I feel like a lot of people can benefit from. Don't be like me. Don't be stupid. Don't stay in an abusive relationship. Don't feel like I do right now, even though I know you're going to, and I have no right to say that. Because your heart's going to hurt. Your heart's going to hurt. You're going to question everything about what they said. You're going to question if you did the wrong. You're going to feel bad. I told my therapist this like 2 days after it happened. I said, I feel like I need to go home and wait for him to get home because I love him so much and I'm so attached to him that I feel like I can't live without him. And I think she said that was called Homestuck syndrome or something like that, where you love your abuser and, like, you stand up for your abuser and you defend your abuser. I felt like I had that, like, right after, but every day is getting better. Today is the first day that I actually woke up and told myself I was gonna be okay, even though I still felt the pain a little bit off and on today. And I think 2 days ago was the first day that I actually finished a whole entire meal. Before that, I wasn't eating at all. I was only taking a couple bites here and there, literally living off a Dr. Pepper a day, if that even finished it. So, I will definitely write down all my story time ideas that I have to share with you guys, and I will be back tomorrow night with another one. And I hope you guys enjoy this. If you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. You can message me. You can message me on Facebook. It's amberevans.com slash, it's facebook.com/ Amber Evans with the number 3 as the E in Evans. You can Snapchat me at e.amber93. You can email me at amber2015 at gmail if you want. I'm willing to talk to anybody about anything you're going through. I want people to really feel like they can reach out to me and relate. I want to be as much help as I can to anybody that needs it and a good friend. I don't really have any friends. My best friend actually disappeared during all this, and she's been my best friend for close to 25 years. And that showed me her character because she was around a lot when I was with, my kid's dad. And now I'm starting to think it was because of the money and about her baby, a lot of stuff. And I hate to say that, but that's honestly how I feel. She hasn't really called and checked up on me or anything. And I'm going through all of this alone. So, and I figured this would help me be less lonely. Um, but anyways, enjoy this video. Have any questions, reach out to me. That's fine. I'll do my best to be, as much comfort as I can and as good a friend as I can to you. And I'll be back tomorrow with another story time. I'm going to make a list actually in my journal over there. Actually, it's right here of story time ideas. Um, and I'll be back tomorrow. Night, guys.